everyone, this is Friedel Hagaraj, and Netflix has released Halle Berry's directorial debut, Bruised. It's on the streaming website, you can watch it. I watched it already, and that's why instead of doing a reaction video, I'm doing more of a review recap video, where I'll talk about certain scenes from the movie that I liked, and certain scenes which I think could have been handled better. So yeah, basically more of a recap and review, and as far as the critics score is concerned. Now, I do agree with certain critics that narratively there seemed to be a whole lot happening with Jackie Justice, the lead character that Halle Berry is portraying. Like there was just a lot. We'll talk about it as we go through the movie. And I do think that some of those issues could have been trimmed out, because there's one certain issue which I feel wasn't properly handled in the movie. It was just left out there on the table without any resolution. However, when it comes to certain critics, the thing that I don't agree with is some of them mentioned that Bruised seemed to similar to other movies that have come before it, and I'm like, you can basically say that about any movie that's released. However, as far as I remember, if I'm correct, Bruised is the first in Hollywood that's giving us a black MMA fighter who is queer, and I'm like, you know what? Yes, certain narrative beats are similar, but basically saying that the entire movie is something that we have seen before, I'm like, where? Point me to the other movies that feature black, queer, MMA female leads. Like, where are those movies? Another thing that I didn't agree with when it comes to certain critics is the fact that they were basically saying that the queer representation felt queer baity and it wasn't handled properly. However, in my opinion, I do think that Bruce does handle the queer romance quite well, and we get a good resolution. It's a happy resolution, which opens a new door to Jackie's future. But anyway, the movie is here. Let's watch. And we have Halle Berry's character Jackie Justice going up against an opponent, but yeah, things go wrong. As far as her directing is concerned, I did like the decision to give us this POV of Jackie, really getting us into what she's seeing. So yeah, the movie does explain why Jackie did all of this back then. Yeah, this kid has been recording her, changing clothes. She's still a fighter. She's still a fighter. However, there's a whole lot of anger and frustration trapped inside. She's like, yep, I'm fired. I need to go. And I'm like, the kids, it's the kid's fault, but you know that, I guess the kid's rich, she can't hold them accountable. Yeah, people recognizing her. She wants nothing to do with her previous life anymore. She doesn't want to continue fighting. She's just living like this. She's a complete mess, drinking alcohol that she's hidden away in spray bottles. She's basically living with her ex-manager, I guess, because she doesn't fight anymore, but her manager still acts as if he's her manager.
I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
How many fucking times I gotta tell you that? I'm happy.
You're happy? Yeah, sure.
Scrubbing toilets for snobby rich ass motherfuckers. That fulfills your fucking purpose.
Yeah, this isn't a healthy relationship. They fight, they yell at each other.
What do you manage to do instead? You pussy the fuck out, let me
He comes so close to hitting her every time, but he doesn't basically hit her.
Because you're a lousy ass manager.
Not yet.
You're a fucking drunk that couldn't manage a goddamn popsicle.
And then they hook up. So one day, her manager does bring her to this underground fight. Yeah. And they're antagonizing her to get her to fight, and she's angry at him. He's the one who put her in this situation. And of course, from the promo material, you already know that these two are going to fight, and Jackie wins that fight. So basically, this is apparently Jackie's speciality, that if she gets her opponent on the floor, she can win. She's basically a grappler, a very angry grappler. Yeah, she's angry. Yeah, and this is a character called Immaculate. And he's like, yep, I see potential in you, I can use you. And this is what leads to Jackie's back to training and her trainer is called Budokan. And this is where things change a whole lot for Jackie.
That's all welcome. Well, I got a nice surprise for you. That little motherfucker over there,
Because Jackie's mom brings home Jackie's son
that baby.
that she left with the son's father like 6 years ago. So this is Budokan, played amazingly by Sheila Atom, if that's how you pronounce her name. She is a trainer, but she's very zen and calm. However, she does have a tragic backstory too, which led her to be like this. Yeah, Budokan doesn't necessarily see it in Jackie, because Budokan is like, you know what? If she gets in the ring, she's going to face opponents that are younger, that are faster, that are fitter. Like, what's happening here? Yeah, she isn't into Jackie yet. But Immaculate is like, no, I can use her. There's something there. So he's like, tap into her anger. Yeah, get her mad. Because of what happened to Manny's dad, Manny is experiencing a whole lot of trauma, which has led him to not talk and not communicate, which also makes sense because this is the first time he's meeting his mom. As far as he's concerned, his dad told him that his mom's dead. So yeah, he's going through a lot. Manny playing the piano, that does come up a couple of times in the narrative.
Nothing at all. Did she tell you that I died?
Yeah. Yeah. They're basically strangers. And the fact that the little child actor is like acting the heck out of this role. Yeah, this scene,
You look good.
Jackie's trying to get him registered in a local school. And Manny is like, he just can't talk right now.
Tomorrow, and then have his
And Manny ends up, yeah. This is where Budokan tells Manny about what to do
Just raise your arms up
when he's scared.
all the way
Which again does come into play later on in the narrative.
and breathe.
This is where he's like, leave your manager. Your manager. Which makes sense.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Come on, say what you chest.
Yeah.
She's like, let's do this. So Jackie brings this piano for Manny,
Something for Manny.
but
Where's
there's tension in the house. Yeah, Manny is angry.
I've been dealing with all day, son, and Samson.
Yeah, Manny just sees the piano by himself. Like Jackie didn't tell him that she bought it for him. And you can just sense the arguments, the yelling, just the sound just leaving him, and he's like focused on the piano and the sound of the piano. And now he remembered that, the kitchen's on fire. I was like, don't touch that, kid. Don't do it. But he tries anyway. Now, I really like this scene. The way that Jackie like protects Manny.
You fucking.
Yeah, here, this one. He's like, no.
He cleaned this up, alright?
I'm big,
Uh-huh.
you're little. And big protects little.
Little.
Okay?
And she's like, you know what? Go play the piano. I cleaned this up. So this is where Jackie makes a decision. She's like, you know what? I need to get a hold of my life. And she ends up draining all of these alcohol bottles. However, she doesn't drain one spray bottle. I was like, Jackie, where's your spray bottle? So yeah, you can tell that Jackie has realized that, you know what? This isn't working. This hasn't been working for a very long time. And she needs to make certain changes. This is where Budokan is like, you know what? Your strength is grappling. But we have to figure out what you're going to do when you're upright. This is another scene of her life that Jackie doesn't have enough money to buy all of the groceries that she wants.
I got 20.
But she ends up giving back the thing that she wants so that her son can have one candy that she promised him. Yeah, both of them are opening up to each other. Yeah, he's angry. He is angry. And this is where Jackie's like, no, I have to make a decision. I can't continue living like this.
Show me your fucking little cartoons and shit.
Mhm.
Come
And
on.
this is when she ends up bringing that water bottle, spray bottle. So they're yelling again, and he's like, you know what? When they're yelling, I like playing the piano, but that gets Jackie's boyfriend more frustrated, more angry. Yeah.
Touch that shit one more time.
And he literally ends up destroying the thing that Jackie bought her son, and the thing that brings him a bit of peace. And he also ends up, yeah, hitting Jackie. Jackie's like, no, that's the last straw. No. Mm-mm. Yeah, this is where these two, like, you can tell that these two are getting closer. And we get to learn about Buddha Khan's past. She had a wife, she had a kid, got divorced. Yeah, this was another emotional scene. He really, really misses his dad. Understandably. Now, this is a narrative thread which I think that could have been handled better. The thing between Jackie and her mom, due to Jackie's childhood being sexually assaulted by a whole lot of men.
Roof over your head. Oh, I had a motherfucking roof over my head. But what I needed was a goddamn lock on my bedroom door.
Yeah.
Lock? For what? You know damn well for what? Okay, you see. But always one.
Yeah, her mom doesn't believe her.
Friends coming in and out of that room. And your nasty ass brother Dexter too.
Yeah,
That's
even
the pay
even
the
her
rent.
uncle.
You know I paid the rent. With my ass and my mouth and all my private liars. How you a liar? You knew and I know that you. I put fucking hands on me.
Yeah, after this confrontation, they don't necessarily talk about it. Which, when you think about it,
Wait a minute, wait your damn self.
it kind of makes sense. Because there are a whole lot of kids who have gone through this.
And I was unaware of me. Don't you think I would have kept the nigga if you had just told me? What you think I kept the 22 under my bed for? Decoration? Wait a minute, Jackie, stop. Wait, Jackie.
Yeah, as I said, like, there are a whole lot of kids who don't necessarily get closure even when they are adults. They just don't talk about it with their parents. Like, their parents don't necessarily know how to handle this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's what I am?
Yeah.
I'm just a tomato can?
Oh, you hope to live to even be that.
Yeah, Immaculate is no. I can, like, drop you. If you aren't serious about this, I can just drop you. This is where Jackie goes through a panic attack, similar to what she got during her match at the beginning of the movie. And she doesn't realize that it's actually Manny knocking at the door. And then she yells at the person at the door. She's like, "Leave me alone." Yeah. And Manny is like, "Okay, I'll just leave you. I guess." He doesn't understand what's happening. And yeah, Jackie's like, "Manny, where are you?" She spends her entire day searching for Manny.
Inside the movie theater.
I actually expected them to
Some woman saw me, brought it.
talk about
Go ahead, my
Jackie's childhood again, but
I'm taking custody.
that doesn't happen.
Wait, hold on. What? You homeless and you ain't fit to the honest mother.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be with her.
You know I
He's angry at her.
was right
This is where Jackie shares
after I left Manny.
about why she jumped the cage.
Yeah, I guess.
She just couldn't handle it. She just basically, she's like,
face.
she just runs.
And I got scared. That rage turned inward. Your greatest weapon was pointing right back at you.
Basically angry at herself, about her choices,
But that was then.
being scared. And yeah, this is where these two hook up. And I do think that the intimate scene was handled quite well. It didn't feel as if it was exploiting the body of these two women. And then we get a montage of her training, getting ready to fight Lady Killer. The reminds me of how Normani sings. Yeah, this is where Jackie is like, I have to break up with you. I can't continue doing this. Which makes sense. I was actually worried that Jackie was going to be like, you know what? I'm straight. I don't like women. I just hooked up with you once because I needed it. So I'm really glad that the writers didn't do that. That Jackie is a queer lead character in such a movie. Yeah, but Khan is like, we can do this together, which again, I understand where Jackie's coming from. She has a lot of stuff on her plate, and she just can't do everything at once. But then we do get a resolution to their relationship, which I appreciated. That the narrative didn't forget about Buddha Khan. This is the thing that I didn't like. Like, Buddha Khan didn't have to go back to drinking because of what Jackie did. Like, I get that it's tough for her, but still, like, don't destroy her. I like her. I like her as a character. Now, while most of the movie was slow, had emotional moments, in the final 15 minutes, like, things get very intense, and Jackie's fight with Lady Killer is handled very, very well. It's very intense, very in your face, how the camera moves. So the match begins, but she's remembering her last time in the cage, and that distracts her for, yeah, enough for Lady Killer to get in a hit. I also like how we got commentary, so we could follow what's actually happening when it comes to how MMA fighters fight. Yeah, Manny wants to watch his mom fight, but his grandmom is like, no, no Manny, go to bed. And Lady Killer is trying to get her off of her. Yeah. Like the fight choreography, well done. Well done. And here I was like, wait, is Jackie going to win? Is Jackie going to win? But no, she's safe by the bell. So this is the final round. And yeah, again here I was questioning whether or not Jackie was going to win. She doesn't. But I think the entire thing was handled quite well. Even if Jackie didn't win, it still makes sense for her character, her narrative arc. Because her real win comes later in the movie. Yeah, it's coming down to the final seconds. Just look at Halle's face. And Valentina, she's an actual MMA fighter. I think she's the current flyweight champion. She did good too. Yeah, Jackie didn't win. Lady Killer gets to keep her title. But she does end up being the people's winner. And that's what's count. Like, everyone saw her coming back, giving the fight her all. And she got the recognition, the acknowledgement from the public. And I also like the fact that Lady Killer is happy for her too. And she supports her during this moment. Yeah, I like this. Both of them ending this fight on a friendly note, showing sportsmanship. But yeah, and the grandma is like, Manny, your mom won, but Manny's asleep already. I was so glad that Buddha Khan came back, and these two got to talk their feelings out. And also end on a friendly note. Maybe they'll continue this relationship moving forward. Who knows? But I really liked how things ended for these two. This is where she's like, Manny, I know I have a whole lot to prove to you. Yeah. And she's willing to put in the effort to do that. Like, this is where she really won. This is the moment where she's like, you know what? This is me winning right now. So she ties Manny's shoes. And this is where Manny... Yeah. I will be doing a written review for Bruised for the Geek Theory. The link to my review will be down in the comment section below as soon as the review is published. I enjoyed this movie. As I said before, I understand where certain critics were coming from when they were talking about like a whole lot. Jackie as a character ended up experiencing a whole lot of issues in a single movie. So I understand that. And I do feel that when it came to Jackie's relationship with her mom, I do feel that that could have been handled better because I don't know if I missed it, But I think that that thing wasn't necessarily properly resolved. As far as Halle's Oscar chances are concerned, like the narrative behind Bruised is very, very strong. The fact that she won an Oscar like 20 years back and is still the only black actress to win an Oscar in the Best Actress category, and after 20 years, she had to freaking direct herself in a movie, star in that movie to get back into the Oscar chatter. I guess the Oscar nominations are going to come out next year in February, if I remember correctly. But yeah, regardless of whether or not she wins, like, I'm just glad that she ended up directing her first big movie. This was her directorial debut, and she was like, "No, I'm going to do a future. I'm going to do a feature film, and I'm going to star in it too." So I'm looking forward to seeing more of Halle's directorial projects. Personally, I want to see Halle in a comedy movie, but yeah, let's see what happens. Anyway, let me know what you thought of Bruce down in the comment section below. Until next time, stay happy, stay sensitive. Plus, see you guys later.